Today is Tuesday, November 19th, 2019. Going to capture the rush hour at Mineola, a real hot spot and a very popular Railfan location on the railroad. And you're looking at Nassau Tower, whose days are numbered as part of the triple tracking project. We'll try to get as many trains as possible, get some of the key trains, and try to get all the diesels. A lot of maintenance guys here today, working on the cables here, the relay boxes. And at 4:06, first up is train 556 from Jamaica to Oyster Bay. About to head on to the namesake branch. And we got a westbound MU at 4:09. Huntington bound at 4:10. Those workers aren't getting much of a break between trains. And approaching at 4:14 is train 656, en route from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Port Jefferson. He won't be stopping here. Every other Port Jefferson train, though, does. And Mineola has one of the more stately, impressive depot buildings on the railroad. Mineola is the county seat of Nassau County. And at the west end of the station platform here in Mineola, you can see on the south side, put up some fencing. Looks like they're building a wall also. And looks like they extended the eastbound platform a little ways to the west. That might have been done years ago. Big changes are coming in Mineola. Got a westbound equipment train at 4:41. 4:43. Here comes train 2350 from New York to Farmingdale. He's off in a hurry. Pretty soon we'll have a couple of diesel trains eastbound stopping here within minutes of each other. Well, if you like position light signals, this area abounds with them. Pardon me, that was a late-running 2350 from New York to Farmingdale. The previous eastbound MU was for Huntington. And that signal indication is heralding the approach of train 558 en route from Hunters Point Avenue to Oyster Bay. And arriving at 4:52 is train 558. Train 658 from New York to Port Jeff should be right behind him. K5 LLA horn on them. And the gates are going down at this pedestrian walkway for train 658 from New York to Port Jeff. He'll be stopping here too. And he's pulling out. This is one of two dual mode sets that go to Port Jeff. 660 is the other one. He'll be by in about a half an hour. And next up at 5:01, coming off the branch, is train 555 en route from Oyster Bay to Jamaica. The horns on those C3 cars won't win any awards for a pretty sound. brace of M3s go by eastbound. I believe that's headed for Ronkonkoma. We see 555 heading for Jamaica. That eastbound M3 set was actually train 1722 for Huntington. And Mineola is the home for NYU Winthrop University Hospital. It's one of the finest cancer treatment hospitals around. I can definitely attest to that. We got an eastbound express at 5:09. Westbound equipment moved by at 5:10. Got a couple of eastbounds that are going to stop here fairly soon. We got a Ronkonkoma train in 2 minutes and train 2778 for Patchogue in about 9 minutes. Time at 5:17 is train 2778. Right from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Patchogue. Making the first of his main line stops east of Jamaica. The other one is Hicksville. In about another 7 or 8 minutes, we should have train 660 for Port Jeff from New York City barreling through. And that clear signal is beckoning train 660 for Port Jeff. And at 5:26 p.m., here he comes. Our second and last dual mode set for Port Jefferson tonight. He's in a big hurry. Now approaching westbound is another train that comes off the Port Jeff branch. This is train 655, Port Jeff to Jamaica. That train runs non-stop from Huntington to Jamaica. Well, 2354 for Farmingdale just left at 5:35. He should be throwing the switch for 560 to Oyster Bay around now. He's right behind him by a couple of minutes. Let's see if we can see and hear the switch being thrown. There it is. And at 5:39, 560 is pulling out of the station to head up the Oyster Bay branch. Ah, that engineer's wimping out on that K5 LLA horn. Let's see if we can hear the switches being thrown back for mainline traffic. And there it is. We're going to have a meet here. I know the eastbound is 2064 from New York to Ronkonkoma. 544, that was train 1724 from New York to Huntington. He goes non-stop from New York to Syosset. At 5:48, it's time for the Bobbsey twins. Two diesels that come within minutes of each other. This is train 662 departing Mineola en route from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Port Jefferson. 2740 will be right behind it. At 2740 en route from Penn Station to Spionk will be close behind this guy. That's our last dual mode train we'll see, and the only dual mode train we'll see heading out to the Montauk branch. And at 5:50 p.m. here he comes, 2740. He's loafing a little bit. 662 isn't too far ahead of him. 662 has to stop at Hicksville, but this guy doesn't. He goes all the way to Babylon without stopping from after leaving Jamaica. And here comes 2740. He's picking up speed a little bit. 662 is not too far ahead of him. And 5:55, that was 1726 from New York to Huntington. Get a few high-stepping MUs going through here around now. And this is the time of the night they use track 1 for eastbounds. 5:57 p.m. This should be train 2066 from New York to Ronkonkoma. He goes non-stop from New York to Wyandanch and then all stops. All right, 6:03 departing Mineola's train 2068 to Ronkonkoma with 10 M3s. And got a clear on track number 1 for an eastbound. Ooh, he's in a mighty big hurry. He's by on track 1 at 6:09. I think that's a Huntington train. Well, at 6:14 p.m. coming east on number 1 is train 1256 from New York to Hicksville, but he hasn't got a signal yet. On track number 2 there's a signal. That should be for train 664 from Hunters Point Avenue to Port Jeff, perhaps. Now we got 2 eastbounds coming. One not stopping on number 2 and a local on 1. Now this is 1256. This guy will drop off a lot of passengers.
How long you had that job?
Not too long.
Enjoy.
I know that's a heavily patronized train you got there.
Yeah.
1256.
You gotta make sure she opens the way the door.
Do you even know my train number?
Yeah, they got out for that.
Wow.
Well,
Well, you have a great evening. Be safe.
You too.
All right.
all right, have a safe trip, ma'am.
And that name Ann? Huh?
Well, you don't have that far to go. A couple of stops.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
He's kind of taking it easy getting out of here. And a friendly conductoress talking to us rail fans. All right, this is 562 from Jamaica to Oyster Bay. Now it's 6:26. This is train 664 from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Port Jeff. First stop is Greenlawn after Jamaica. Nice K5LA on him. Bound by at 6:30. Fairly soon you should have the M9s going through on train 1258, New York to Hicksville. Here come 557, Oyster Bay to Jamaica, 6:32. As 557 went by, we were it blanked out 2716 from Jamaica to Montauk. I believe Joe V was the engineer on that train. Didn't get to see him. All right, it's 6:35 p.m. It's M9's time. Train 1258 from New York to Hicksville. You'll be flying right on by. Ronkonkoma bound, shooting up sparks, 6:38. And pulling out of Mineola at 6:42 is train 666 from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Port Jefferson. That's 566 from Penn Station, New York to Oyster Bay. By at 6:55. And that last Oyster Bay train is actually 564 from New York to Oyster Bay. 703 going by first with a nice K5 LLA horn is 668 en route from Hunters Point to Port Jefferson in a westbound equipment move. Should have the westbound M9s returning to Hillside pretty soon. And 7:04 p.m. This could be the westbound M9 set going back to Hillside. Long Island Railroad puts on a great show at Mineola. Between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. you can see 50 trains here easy. Here come the M9s at 7:05, heading back to Hillside. Mineola. The railroad always puts on a great show here at rush hours. You can see 50 trains between 4 and 7. Here comes an eastbound. Good night.